everyone, checkers and pleasers alike. Welcome to our show, Checkpoint, the show where we discuss and discern the current events of the most recent episode of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please, the 2022 Christmas special, Nothing Lasts Forever. And I would like to welcome our members today. I am Keni, your fortunate host. Foaly as my co-host, now hungry only for fleshed out answers.
Hello.
Xeno, our Swamp Witch Swarm Monger.
That's me.
Our beloved Daddy DM, usually.
Hello.
And Skrewy, our rock hard holy man.
Hello.
Does that mean I'm usually beloved or usually DM?
You're usually DM.
I prefer usually beloved, but okay.
You're always beloved to me, so shut the fuck up. You're gonna get fucking loved whether you like it or not.
Oh, shit.
You know.
Well then, shall we get started at the beginning?
Sure, it's a very good place to start.
Right?
I like the ending first.
All right, so everyone dies.
Yay!
And none of us are
Except for
more,
Levette.
no.
Did you found my notes for season 2? Oh, crap.
I think I have your notes for season 2, technically.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, probably.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. Anyway, so the party, one by one, is awoken, aside from Riz, who is sleeping in with Jero. The party members are still in Praesidium. Did I say that right, Keni? I do hope so.
Presidium, yeah.
Praesidium. They're woken up one by two very excitable fourth-dimensional children who invite them to have waffles and pancakes at the start of the Harvest Festival day. And so we all gather in the dining room, enjoy a lovely breakfast, or at least the start of one, and then the children get creepy. Arguably.
They're always creepy. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're wonderful children.
They are.
And we
they
should
also-
live with them forever and ever.
No, they don't want you to live there, to be honest.
Paris
It's fun for
invited
you to visit.
Cola.
But
Curla was invited by Karis. Therefore, Karis's rule is law. Because Karis is God to their children.
But, yeah, we get the first sort of hint that these kids who have been involved in these orb machinations in the past, that it might not just be sort of them accidentally knocking stuff off pedestals or tables, but that there might be some deliberate thought behind it, that they might know more about these trips into orb land than they're letting on. Keni, do you want to address that?
Sure. I mean, last Christmas, they brought the orb up from the basement. And gave it to everyone as a present, and it knocked over, and they went with you in that time because they chose to. Finding the orb again, they're like, I see, so you guys have to experience these things. We're going to just stop the dilly-dallying and just get it on with then.
Horrible. Smart. You know what? Smart. I like that. Cut to
But
the chase.
It's not nefarious, though, necessarily. I mean, Skrewy, do you think it's nefarious? Who thinks it's nefarious and who doesn't?
Definitely evil.
I don't know yet.
they're good kids.
I think they're
I'm not
good
saying they
kids.
aren't, but I don't know if it's serving some sort of larger, unwittingly serving some larger nefarious cinematic universe.
They're good kids. Horrible people.
Their intentions are good. Now, whether or not the road to hell is paved with good intentions in this instance, I guess we'll find out in the future in this cinematic universe that Keni has devised with Beardy. And I'm curious
What?
the extent. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's.
They're not devising anything with Beardy.
Let me rephrase that. Keni, I know it's all coming from you, but you're building in aspects of Beardy's continuity. Am I correct in that? Because Beardy mentioned something interesting last night. I guess we'll get to that towards
I mean,
the end.
stuff that happens in Snake Eyes, sure. But I don't talk to Beardy about the specials at all during.
No.
Okay, so
I'm
you are
not
coming in
giving any
completely
information.
fresh.
Like, other than the maps, which he helps me, like, upload into the server, that's about it.
Which once I show you how to do that, you won't need me for any of
That's true.
it.
Do you
Ooh,
get
boy.
a choice of which DMPC you get to portray, or is it a question of what Kenny has devised for the scenario?
I think
'Cause
it's
I know you
usually
played Jiro in the
scenario.
Halloween.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's usually scenario. Sometimes it's Corona, sometimes it's Care. One time it was Jiro.
One time it was Corona.
True.
Only
Did
one.
I say that?
Well, you said
thought I said that.
sometimes it's Corona,
Oh,
but it's only been
alright,
one
sure.
time so far.
Yeah,
That's a sometime.
that's a sometime, but all right.
But
so,
yes.
Since you specifically said one time for Jiro, I was correcting.
I'm sorry that I was specific for one of those instances and not the others.
How dare
So-
you?
To make sure that you do get full credit, though, Kenny, obviously, yes, these are your brainchild, and they kick ass. I think I'm safe to say that on behalf of everyone. Did we all enjoy ourselves last night and in all the previous
Yeah.
holiday specials?
For sure.
Hit on some emotions,
Yeah.
and it was.
I know
delicious.
this one was a bit different from the other Christmas sessions because the first two Christmas sessions, of course, were from Beardy, and then last year's was my first Christmas special, and I really wanted to ride off of like Christmas Town and kind of keep that like going as my way to like say goodbye to it almost, so that I could get into shit like this.
Like Die Hard.
You guys had a fun Halloween special that wasn't super serious, so you had to have a serious Christmas this year.
Intruder! Intruder!
Oh,
Art is my passion.
Well, yeah, we all we all get sucked into the orb, and thankfully there are no poor innocent tiny goblins to yeet off of bridges.
That's fine. Jiro
This
wasn't
time.
there, so
Fortunately, there were no goblins eat off of bridges. The correct terminology there.
Unfortunately, yeah, all right.
my heart hurts.
But we find ourselves, and miraculously undamaged by the journey this time, which was kind of nice. But we find ourselves in our skivvies, in our small clothes, with no
Hot
armor,
pants,
no
thank you
weapons,
very
no magic, in a strange sort of futuristic neon city that we don't immediately recognize, but it's full of strange contraptions, carriages that seem to move by themselves or appear like they could. What did we all think of this setting that we've never really seen before?
I think the Dark Elves need to be stopped.
Agreed.
Yeah.
it was an alternate timeline.
I
But
know.
hey, the hive is on that. So
Yeah.
You bunch of terrorists.
I love
what
that
is
we're
a
in the history
terrorist
of
to
terrorists.
terrorist?
It gave me vibes of, what's that game? BioShock Infinite. Gave me vibes of that alternate timelines kind of deal.
I mean, all of the specials are kind of alternate timelines normally.
No, I felt like we were gonna start hearing. I mean, we were hearing Christmas music, but at any moment I thought we were gonna start hearing Mariah Carey.
Oh, absolutely
couldn't-
not. We would have gotten copyright struck.
Of course. But I mean, like mentally, like, we would hear.
You go into the timeline where we can't stream.
The timeline where we can license this music. We have the money to license it.
What a
I do
timeline that would be.
love the fact that all of these timelines are, or all of these adventures do exist in alternate timelines, because especially for the Christmas specials, it works with the kind of holiday tradition of It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol, where we get to investigate scenarios where, well, what if we had done this differently, or what if this had happened to us differently? So that's always just a fun little undercurrent.
We done that yet?
So we
I've
we
never
investigate-
seen that movie, so I have no idea.
What, It's a Wonderful Life or Christmas Carol?
It's a Wonderful Life. I've seen so many versions of Christmas Carol, though. That's literally
Yeah.
part of my job.
Yeah. No, It's a Wonderful Life's actually in my top 3 Christmas movies. It's actually probably in
Never
one of my,
seen it.
It's probably in my top 10 like just movies that I like. So I'll have to show you It's a Wonderful Life because it's a really long movie and it's really old and you'll probably
Okay.
think it's boring, but I think it's beautiful.
I mean, you're talking to someone who actually enjoys Casablanca, so...
Oh, then you might really like it then. All right.
Next Christmas, can we like do a cultural exchange where we show each other like Christmas specials from our childhood that we loved that other people might
Ooh.
not have seen?
It would take me a while to find the one that I especially liked, but I would try that. Yeah, sure.
Yay!
Okay.
So I have a question. Unless
Mhm.
people want to talk about their reactions to the setting or the car, which I know entranced Grem and Levette, which was a nice hint of what would be to come, especially with the connections between
All improv.
Levette.
I was considering breaking the window so that I could throw Levette in there.
Amazing.
I just love that Vera's first instinct would have been Grand Theft Auto. Makes me be. Like, they'll add that to your rap sheet. We've already got terrorism charges on there, but what's a little bit of...
Right? Like, after that, what? It doesn't even matter.
Right.
At least I checked the door handle.
I thought you would end up wrenching the damn thing off and, like, using it as a shield, but...
I was being good.
Were you, though?
I mean, if he had said he like tugged on it, I probably would have like given him just the handle, because the handles on cars are actually very fragile. As cinematic as taking a door is, realistically that doesn't make sense.
On the front of it.
So I have a question. Oh, Beardy, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, like, I feel like what that could have done is set off a car alarm and got us all arrested. Like,
Hey, that's why I didn't do it.
It looked like a taxi though, so I wouldn't know if a taxi would have a
Why not?
car alarm.
It is a car.
So my
Anyway.
question for Keni
Mm-hmm.
is this. What would have happened if we tried to get into the subway?
Nothing, because it would have been blocked off.
Got it.
What if I
I
got
was-
it anyways?
Well,
I think you mean the underground bathroom.
The underground bathroom, yes,
I don't know.
apologize.
You get attacked by rats and die from severe poisoning that actually affects you.
What a absolutely a horrible Christmas special.
Merry
I don't know.
Christmas, everyone.
You guys,
Everybody.
like,
I
did
died
s-
of rats.
You did some really weird chaotic stuff that I did not anticipate. You were a little more chaotic than I thought you would be last
What do
night.
you mean?
Like traveling through the vents to that other room, I didn't
You-
have
You
plans.
said that she was behind the glass like originally.
No, it
I'm
was a
pretty
screen.
sure.
It's a video screen.
You said like the person was like obscured by.
No,
the
in the
screen, so it's like-
video.
So I assumed, the grass is like tinted.
But
Okay.
it makes sense that Vera would be like, oh, they're in there because they don't
Mhm.
understand that it's a video screen.
That's
they're like,
true.
oh, the person's just in that room.
Like I
So-
described it, it was similar to the Christmas tree like picture you saw outside that was somehow 3D but not.
yeah.
There's a.
But it
3D
also gave us
mystery.
Yeah.
it gave us a vet scene, which is important for Die Hard.
Yes,
Mhm.
very thematically resonant and relevant.
Yeah.
I just didn't have anything for you. I'm sorry.
But before we enter the building and really start causing chaos and havoc, we run into some familiar faces.
Yep. You guys got Zayfa and Kailani from Snake Eyes Season 2 that hasn't even recorded, but you guys have learned more about them than me. I know more.
And they're both giving Petravian the stink eye. I
Yeah.
recall.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were working alongside Pringle, and Pringle had warned them. They're like, oh, hey, like, if we're here, these guys always fucking show up. I need to tell you what happened. She explained her side of the story and was like, hey, maybe not my best choice in that moment, but at the same time, when I tried to be, like, really calm and explain what happened, he did choke me out.
There was a lot of choking last night, but Skrewy, rather, any defense of Petravian's actions in that last special?
Defense for what?
Hashtag Team Petra.
Doubling down. I like it.
Doubling down. I do like the Snake Eyes Season 2 reference, or as I would like to call it, Snake Eyes Season 2, oops, all Genasi.
It's true. I want their team name to be called the Elementalists.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops, all Genasi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Zayfa and Kailani let us know the score, let us know that Pringle is also there, that they tried to get into the building,
Mhm.
and that Pringle was caught in the act, most likely, because they have not seen Pringle in quite a few, was it a few days, a few weeks?
Couple days. A
Couple
while.
of days.
So
A
they
while.
only sent in Pringle?
Yeah.
That is the worst splitting up I've ever heard of in my life.
She was supposed to sneak in and
Wow.
find like the alternate opening, pretty much.
It's
Is
like we're gonna send the cleric in to sneak.
is Pringle even good at sneaking?
No.
No.
But she didn't have any armor on, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
We also learned that the orb was a power source for this building, so at least we weren't going to have to hunt for it all over the city. We knew it was in the tower. We knew that Pringle might be in danger, so of course we raced to the building. We didn't take any time to dilly-dally.
Of course not.
Of course not. We were on focus, on mission. Nothing would stop us.
So about corn dogs?
Yeah, I found out that these people are crazy and they serve animal genitals breaded in corn, and I'm disgusted that they would try to sell that to people.
Yeah, and then they wouldn't give us a taste of
Christmas.
the funnel cakes.
Right. So they had these
Wait.
delicious smelling funnel cakes, and we weren't even allowed to taste them.
Nope.
That was crushing.
And then not only
You
were
guys
we not
didn't have
allowed to taste
money.
them,
It's fine.
yeah,
They
yeah,
closed down
and then
the
we
entire
asked,
alley.
and then we let them know. Oh, actually, we're not from around here, and we're have no money.
They're not
They
supposed to
told
speak
everybody
to
around
outsiders.
you. So,
I think that should have been evident, especially after finding out you guys were terrorists.
Yeah.
I thought it was because we had no money.
No.
No.
It's because we were definitely an aberration in their society, because those people we were dealing with were all slaves.
Hmm.
Because it's Mythalian,
Well-
and it's a terrible place.
Moose technically changed it around a little bit. They're like, oh, they're working for their living, and like they're trying to make it far more positive because of their experience with Bernie.
So
They
it's
don't work for their living.
So it's
It's
slavery, with
slavery
extra
under the name of
steps.
capitalism. In
They
other
live
words.
Correct.
to work.
Yeah.
Got it.
They're bringing the Dark Elves into the New Age.
Oh,
People are happier.
Well, I'm for one am very glad that this episode ended the way it did.
hmm very much so.
Well, after and I love that it's listed this way in the notes, so thank you, Xeno, for that. The corn dog debacle. Still pissed we didn't get to try those animal genitals in corn.
Bad idea.
We enter the building, and the receptionist is less than impressed with our presence. Quite shirty, which I guess most receptionists often are, but they did not. The receptionist did not want us there, and did not want us to speak with. I don't think we actually learned the name of the person in charge until later, until the next set of Dark Elves. But they didn't want us speaking with the person in charge. And Petravian tried to be polite about it.
So, you know how you guys kept all like being like, oh, can we talk to the celebrant and stuff like that, even if you didn't know the name back then? It's just very interesting because obviously these Dark Elves have their job and they're like, you're not Dark Elves. Why would anyone who's not a Dark Elf be able to talk to the celebrant? So that's very much so their mindset as you guys come into this building.
I just like that Karis went up and it was like, we want to touch the orb. I just imagine in Die Hard, the terrorists coming in and being like, going up to the receptionist, can we have the money?
Look, we just want to touch the money. We don't
We
even
don't
want to
want the
take
money.
it.
We just want to
We
touch it.
just want to find those. What are those called?
The bearer bonds.
Bearer bonds. We just want to go into the vault with the bearer bonds and just touch them. We promise we're
leave.
not going to hurt anybody.
And we're gonna leave. We're not gonna even take it
We'll
with us.
literally vanish. We'll touch the bearer bonds and just literally vanish. So like it's fine.
Very believable.
And the bearer bonds will still be there.
So like
It's-
we're not here to hurt you. We're not here to hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't make us leave a wake of destruction behind us.
And
I
then
love
Petra got
how-
shot.
I love how that's the qualifier. I love how that's the qualifier. We're not here to hurt anybody, because any trustworthy person says, "I'm not here to hurt you."
Well, no, but it's like I can see how this is going to go down. It's like, well, we're going to end up killing all of these fucking people. So
Yeah.
can we spare you any of the suffering and just have you not kill yourself trying
Just-
to fight us?
Because, I mean, it is also their job to die for their
Oh.
job.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, slavery, extra steps.
Yeah.
I love Karis for trying, though. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Keni,
Mm-hmm.
how long had you been waiting for the opportunity to have someone shoot Petra?
I mean, Riz already did it.
Did Riz already do it?
I mean, with a disintegrate
I've
spell
been
and
shot
like
a few times.
like battle royales we did for fun.
Oh yes.
But I don't know. It was just because Petravian was the last person to really like add the aggravation, because they were aiming for Karis until Petravian stepped in front. So it literally would have just been the closest person.
Fair enough. But guns, that's new.
Interesting side note. Shooting somebody in the shoulder. Oh, I got shot. No. There's a lot of shit right here. There are arteries. There are nerves. Getting shot in the shoulder is not like, No, that's
Not
shit.
like it looks like in the movies.
But it was also
Exactly.
movie logic. Is what
Yeah.
we were,
A
we were
little
thinking.
bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was movie logic. But this is for general knowledge. There is a lot of shit just in this area here that could potentially kill you.
So I guess the takeaway there is for folks listening: don't shoot anyone in the shoulder, and don't let
Definitely
yourself
shoot
be
people.
shot in the
Yeah, don't get
shoulder.
shot.
The general rule of thumb: if you're planning on shooting somebody,
Screwy, no.
Intent-
No.
No,
We're
no,
not
no.
going to talk about
no.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not gonna talk about that.
Just
Moving
don't
on.
shoot
You got it.
anybody.
Moving on.
Just don't.
But yes, we have guns and we have modern machinery, or at least modern by our standards, and certainly unlike anything that we have seen. We have weird magical plastic boxes on the walls where if you wave a card in the right spot, like weird, disgusting, sickness-inducing rooms will appear and make you feel like
Yeah,
it's
an
horrible.
elevation chamber that just makes you want to puke appears.
Yeesh. Nastiness.
Your ears pop, and they have calming-ish music that
Ish
kind of makes
music?
you angry.
Ish's music is beautiful.
Yeah, it's just music is the song of creation.
Music of the spheres. I want to applaud Xeno and Keni for the way that you handled the whole card reader situation, because it is so bloody ubiquitous, this technology in our world, that it's kind of difficult to pretend like you don't know what the hell this thing is. But I love it. Just played out really nicely, that moment, very naturally for how it would be encountering this for the first time if you come from a completely alien world.
Oh yeah, I trust Xeno. He's really good at like just playing his character as is.
Bullshitted the whole way through.
It worked. Good instincts. So we get in this horrible sickness box, which
But
doesn't
it's
sit
just
well
like-
with Karis.
I was like how the entire party just like, yeah, we'll go inside this closet all at once.
I'm an elevating box of nauseation.
There's always like a running joke that appears, or a running theme that tends to appear in these specials. It seemed to be sympathetic puking was the one last night, as this was the first time that it came up, because Karis got sick, and from that, who else was
No,
feeling
no,
a
no.
little bit under the weather from that?
Karis got sick. No one else got sick. Levette kind of almost did. And then Pringle got sick earlier, and then,
Yes.
or later, and then Karis got sick from Pringle getting sick.
Yes.
That's because throwing up in D&D is always comedy gold.
Oh yeah.
Just like in Total Drama Island.
I'd like
Well,
to watch like 1 or 2 of those episodes.
before there can be too much upchucking, we find ourselves in a new area of the building with
Mhm.
some rickety catwalks and some stairways and a sleigh that
No
Or am I
dead
jumping
deer
ahead?
with.
no dead deer,
The box
unfortunately.
did in fact take you to a room next to a sleigh, which was only vaguely decorated to bring in the spirit so that workers felt all right working on Christmas.
Speaking of which, well, obviously it's a Christmas episode. We hadn't even mentioned the music, the lobby music, the elevator music, just
Real
all of the
jam,
wonderful
that
Christmas
elevator music.
decorations. Sorry, Beardy. what was that?
Gorgeous.
Oh, I was just saying it was real jam, that elevator music.
Yeah. The music throughout was just... It made the whole thing. I mean, a lot of factors made the whole thing, but I loved that as a touch.
Yeah, it was weird not having combat music during combat, but I was like, no, this is a diegetic thing that's happening.
Yeah.
The music is in fact playing throughout this building.
Just adds to the whole slightly bizarre feel of the whole thing. Kind of a reminder that, yes, this is a weird little orb trip that we're all on.
Good.
Aside from the sleigh on the rickety catwalk, there was another object on the rickety catwalk that attracted some attention and brought out some interesting reactions from the rest of the party, some concern for the emotional well-being and health of one of the party members. Skrewy, do you want to speak to what happened there?
Sorry, missed you there. To speak to what now?
Bears.
The teddy bear.
Oh, the bears. That was a
Bears.
catharsis. The bear. That was a catharsis both for me and for Petra, because whenever he tries to give to try to hug it out, he ends up hurting someone.
This bitch is so touch-starved.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Karis
Yeah,
was like
it is.
astounded by how
And-
touch-starved.
It's like that everyone was trying to get Petravian to not hug this bear.
Right?
And Vera is very adamant that you
And-
put that onto the bear and not herself.
But then the thing that he was worried about happened. Gotta
Which
love the
was-
dice. The dice.
Yes.
The dice.
We had some fucking great rolls last night, though, especially Xeno. You were just racking up the nat 20s and the candy.
The first half, yes. The
First,
second half, I couldn't roll over a 5.
did you touch
Yeah,
cursed
kid.
dice during the break or something?
I am the cursed dice.
It's true.
But
Xeno holds a curse within him that ruins things.
The
posted.
head popping off the bear was less traumatic for Petravian than I expected. I really thought that would crush you, Skrewy, but
Mm,
Do you want
Not
me
so
to
much.
play this while we're...
yeah.
Oh, I just linked it just in case anyone wants it. It's the Christmas elevator music.
You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna listen to that during
Nice.
Christmas.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get enough Christmas music during the Christmas season.
It's a real jam. That's all I'm saying. I'm just over
Oh,
here
yeah.
just I'm listening to it right now. It's been playing ever since the special.
Oh my god.
Do we even call it music? Isn't it not music?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's
Well,
just gonna go.
shortly after getting into combat with this bear, we get into combat with two dark elves who are in the room.
Mhm.
Our first combat encounters,
Just doing their jobs.
doing their jobs, willing to die for the cause. What did folks make of that?
How about them wanting to die for their jobs?
Yeah.
They just kind of wanted to take it and be like, yep, bye, everybody.
Ain't no job worth dying for.
Except for them.
That's true.
They were sadly mistaken.
Okay. You edgelord.
What?
I don't
They
know,
were-
it just
they
sounded
were-
very edgy.
I'm saying they were not. It was not worth dying for. Like they could have lived on happily somewhere else.
Well, I mean, based on like their values and their jobs, they considered it fine. So you can go in with your perception, but that was their perception of things.
And
I
think
believe.
You just
Sorry,
sound so
Beardy.
fucking smug.
I mean, they're the ones that died, so I guess we're right.
I believe we left one of them alive. I think
We
Petravian
did.
was about to stove in one of their heads, and
You left the receptionist alive too.
oh,
Yeah,
so we
so
did.
there were 2 survivors.
Of the incident.
They
This will go
mysterious.
down in-
Well, what the receptionist like was still knocked out when you went down, and I doubt you checked the reception when you went to the orb because you're probably just like, let's go to the orb.
No, the receptionist only had some minor brain swelling. It's fine.
Yeah.
That never hurts anyone. Nah,
Oof.
never leaves any lasting damage. Oh dear.
And then the other one was
Um,
trapped in a jail cell, so it was fine.
Yes.
Although, I guess now there might not be anyone there to free her. So, see.
So we've already touched on the fact that this was an episode chock full of Die Hard references. My question for everyone is when, aside from Keni, since obviously you designed it this way, but when did everyone kind of cotton on to the fact that, hey, this is a Die Hard Christmas special? At what point in our playthrough did that become clear to folks?
I mean, I can't really answer that because I knew it was going to be Die Hard.
Ah,
My,
entire
yeah,
time.
my answer is also not great because I also figured it was Die Hard after seeing the maps. So that
Okay.
it was well before we ever played.
Fair enough. I'll just answer for myself, since Skrewy had to step away and since Grem is not here, but shout out to both of them. Miss you, Grem.
I miss Grem.
I mean, miss you, Skrewy too, but you were here just like 2 seconds ago, so
He probably has us in his ear. It's fine.
yeah. I guess I kind of cottoned on when it was a tower that we had to breach, a Christmas-themed tower, that kind of
Yeah.
setting off alarm bells.
I tried to do it as like a bit of a twist where you guys were the terrorist organization going into the Christmas party almost. Although you guys are technically the good guys in this situation. But I watched the movie with Xeno because I was like, I really want to do Die Hard this year. And I said this months ago. But I don't remember all the beats. Do you mind if we watch it? And then we kind of like wrote down notes together, went back and forth. And then after Kyle said a couple of things, I was like, all right, I got it. I know exactly what the story is now.
Wait, are you saying that Hans Gruber isn't the hero?
He's the hero in my heart.
Okay,
Mine
good.
too. Alan Rickman. I mean, pour one out for Alan Rickman, my
Yeah.
god.
I like his romance movies.
Have you seen Truly Madly Deeply? Nice. So, I have concerning the layout and the theme. I was curious about the costumes, or I should say that the outfits, the armor worn by the Dark Elves. We had kind of a leather, cyberpunky Western feel to those. What were your choices for their?
I looked up gunslingers online. And then
Okay.
I made them into dark elves.
Awesome.
And that's where the clothes. I mean, of course, my theory for dark elves is always that they're kind of just a step ahead, like in fashion and technology, and a little bit of everything. Oddly, they're like far too good for their own good or own bad, whatever. And I wanted to make sure I always had the glowing green veins in the clothing to keep that up, because that's what Moo wears. Although they normally have like a very tan, very simple, like kind of clothing in comparison to a lot of other people that they're used to. Where Sasho has like a really low cut dress because she likes showing off her booba.
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, look, Sasha's got the things to show off. Sasha's going to show them off because it acts as a wonderful distraction to everyone around.
You got it? Flaunt it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tactical choice for Sasha.
Also, talking about Die Hard references, Keni and I had a bet that about who was going to say "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker" first, and we won. It was Grem.
It was Grem.
Because the question was, is it going to be Skrewy or is it going to be Grem? And we're like, Lavette, and Grem likes getting to the punch. Like, as soon as he knows something, he wants to say the line. Like,
there is no like waiting for the right opportunity.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, we defeat the Dark Elves. We leave one of them locked up in the cage from which we have just sprung.
which, by the way, sorry, but
No, go ahead.
in general, how did everybody feel about combat this session? It was quite a bit different than our normal combat.
Yeah. I mean, Karis is terrible in combat. Like, just straight up terrible in combat.
Mhm.
So, yeah, did not do well.
Right there with you on that. I
Did
mean,
not do well. I think I was actually rolling pretty well, at least like for the actual D20 rolls. Like I was getting like 15s in combat, and it wasn't even close to hitting. It's
Really?
like, okay, this is just not going to happen.
For the
Like,
guns?
Yeah, for the guns.
Oh, really?
Because like the earlier ones I think had a lower AC,
Mhm.
but the ones at the end, like Karis, I think. Well, I'm actually curious. Was there AC 24 or 25?
I think the very last ones were 26.
Oh, then I literally would have had to roll a 20 to hit them. Yeah. So like Karis just straight up was not able to assist in combat at the end. So it was mostly just trying to figure out other things I could do that would be useful other than trying to shoot.
They were they were supposed to be trained assassins and like
Yeah.
good at what they did. So I wanted to
Right.
at least have some factor of,
sure.
oh shit, these people are good.
Right, and at the same time, like, the other characters had a much higher attack bonus.
Hmm.
So, like, it makes sense. Like, don't lower them just so I can hit them and then make it easier for everyone else. That wouldn't make any sense. So,
Right.
like... No, go ahead.
Oh no, I enjoyed the visceralness of the damage taken quite a bit. I thought that was really good. Just being able to role play the damage.
I liked that there was a lot of opportunity for using the environment, and also a lot of melee
yeah.
was involved.
I'd say at least
but-
for my specials, definitely just use whatever you see. I'm happy to like play off of that because it's rule of cool for me.
And just overall, I felt like the combat was really well balanced. I think there was a progression in difficulty. I think it was a challenge, but not an insurmountable one. And it was interesting. It was certainly refreshing not being able to use magic. Obviously, we're not ever using magic in the specials, but we'll always check because that's Curler. But it was just fascinating. It was just, how would we survive in these situations when we don't have a fucking great big axe we can recover and throw into a goblin's head? It was an axe, wasn't it? Yes.
Pickaxe.
Pickaxe. Oh god.
Pickaxe. So perfect.
Pickaxe was really good.
Yeah,
No,
that-
I love the combat. I felt it was balanced. I felt it came up in the appropriate moments. It was generated by the story beats, and it was well balanced with everything else. So nice job with that. We rescue Pringle,
Do.
and Pringle has a beef with a certain member of our party, as we kind of got
What?
into earlier. What? Why? What's a bit of strangulation between friends?
Not friends.
Not
Never friends
eh?
anymore.
No, I got a neat warning about that. That was nice.
I had to have a good cutoff point because we had gone past 10 and I was like, we definitely need to take our break right now because you guys are like really raring to keep going and that's totally fine, but bio breaks are important.
Yeah.
I'm curious though. I think I may have misunderstood the extent to which, if there is any degree, of how much Karis remembers from these specials.
It's called Beardy doesn't remember.
Oh no, that's my own fault because my own memory is terrible. Yeah.
But
I
Karis. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I conflated two different characters in that Christmas special. So I thought my brain was like, oh yeah, you were playing Corona that time, and I wasn't. I was playing Karis that time.
So Corona remembers and Karis does not.
No.
This is
No, they
just
all-
on Beardy.
No, this is just on me as a person, not on the characters.
None of the
He's-
characters ever remember then.
No.
No, boy.
Beardy's just
All right, let
having
me start over.
problems, and that's why it seemed like there was an odd.
Right. So I forgot which character was playing which special. So when I'm
Right.
playing this character, I was like, oh, they don't remember it because they weren't there. It was Corona. But no, it was them, and they did remember. It was me making the mistake. They remember just the same as all you guys. Like, I just forgot which character I was playing last Christmas. Does that not make sense to you?
I'm not being clear. During the specials, we always remember what happened in previous ones.
Yeah.
During regular canon games, how much do...
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. So Karis does
Nothing.
not recall things
No.
outside of these. Okay. That's where I had a little bit of a misunderstanding at the beginning. I wasn't sure if she, for some reason, perhaps because of her connection
Only
with
the kids.
Oh, only
Yeah.
the kids. Okay, thank you.
Fourth dimensional beings.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
So Karis, unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately for Petravian anyway, will not remember Pringle's warning about Petravian's behavior and his darker side.
That's okay. He technically didn't choke anyone out in our main game.
Yeah.
Yet.
For now.
He's done some questionable things.
He has at least lived up to the "it won't be a knife" comment. It will
Yeah,
be his
and-
bare fucking hands, apparently.
And he also is living up to the title of Cudgel that was given to him in season 1.
It's
Ooh,
true.
Yeah.
Remind me who called him that?
Levette.
Levette.
After he killed Colin? What was that
Colm.
kid? Colm. Colm. Colm.
Colm.
What a weird
Sounds like
fucking
a
Colm
name.
and Daria.
Zen chant. Colm. So
Yeah.
Petravian, really doubling down on the being incredibly trustworthy and normal, proceeds to eat this poor dead Dark Elf's Christmas dinner.
It's just messed up.
Is it messed up?
I don't
It's
think
food.
so, to be honest. Honestly, it was left there for you guys to eat. I feel bad that you guys missed out on the milk and cookies, but thematically, he was pushed into the table, so the milk and
That
cookies
was-
got
knocked
destroyed.
over.
My bad.
I didn't have any honey to put on the turkey or chicken or whatever it was, so not gonna eat it.
I enjoyed I enjoyed the beat of Curler not being able to bring themselves to break the gingerbread man to eat it.
Yeah, Curla needs to work on their lack of violence a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh
Curla
my
didn't do
God.
very much during the session.
I get that, and I wish that they could have been more useful in combat. But yeah, they are having a bit of a crisis right now about the extent to which they're willing to be violent and bring themselves to kill people, and that's something that might come up more in main game. Although I never want it to be at the expense of actually being useful from a mechanics perspective. So maybe this was a good way of figuring out how to balance that in a quasi-canonical setting, so that it doesn't become a problem in main game. But I'll explore that.
Yeah,
We all, just like real life, we all have to balance how much we want to murder people.
exactly.
In real
Exactly.
life. In
But also,
general.
like, it's got to the point where like Curla was having inability to eat a cookie because it was human shaped.
Yeah,
Like
that's sad.
that's taking it real far for Curla. So it makes me worry about that character.
As DM,
I mean, as a person.
like their emotional stability might be even worse than Petravian's.
Yeah, for sure. Because like they can't even eat a cookie.
It's a fucking cookie.
It's a
I
fucking
know.
cookie. It's meant to be eaten, and Curla can't eat it because it looks like a person, and that is causing them like so much PTSD apparently.
They're still getting used to being able to eat anything, and they spent so long wanting to eat actual people, and they just lost their sister permanently. They were going through some
You've
shit.
only eaten one person.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You've
true.
eaten rotten meat otherwise, and as of the last several months, you have been eating normal food.
They're getting there, but yeah, things are weird for them, having just lost their sister, having finally lost that hunger, having wanted to be eating you all for so long. But I mean, who wouldn't want to eat you all? You're all delicious.
Oh yeah.
Petravian's got some good meat. You know what? That sounds wrong. I'm not.
Got some
even
marbling.
Hummel has
go
dibs.
there.
It's true.
And Vera's probably like honey flavored, which that's not bad.
Yes, definitely.
Way too sweet a meat.
Yeah. It's like pre-glazed.
You're gonna have to like salt that so much to even it out.
Yeah.
Vera literally is honey glazed most of the time
Yeah.
because of her armor.
It is also
Oh,
kind of fun
God.
to go for like more exaggerated, absurd moments in the specials, knowing that they are quasi-canonical. So perhaps in the main game, Curla won't have as much internal angst about eating a damn cookie.
I really
Eat the
tried to
cookie,
kill
Curla.
you guys today, last night too.
I mean,
the dice
you-
did not allow me.
You showed mercy on me, so thank you.
Well, that's because of in-game reasons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
The
On the-
character didn't aim for your head; they aimed for your back because you were nice to them.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
Oh, well, I don't know what you're saying then.
In the last combat, I rolled a 1, and nothing bad happened. So I take that as you showing me mercy.
I didn't even notice it.
Oh, I didn't even know you rolled a 1.
Yep, no one noticed your one. Sorry, if you
Awesome.
don't say it.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay, no.
I did.
mean,
no one did anything.
Was it
So,
was it the round 2 of the fight?
hmm
Oh yeah. At
So it
that
was the
point, I was so
it was the final battle.
exhausted.
It was my last shot to try to shoot
It literally
the
didn't
villain,
matter at that
and
point.
I rolled a 1, and
It
I was
was
like,
done.
Okay. No, it's like nobody called it. Okay, I might live.
Well, on the flip side of Curla's odd, extreme pacifism is Petravian's. Give it up for
Unquenchable thirst
for the
violence.
yeah, give it up for the very moral cleric of Eden and Mellifera.
Not a
Or
cleric.
paladin.
Not a
rather.
cleric.
Paladin.
Ooh, definitely. not.
Hive keeper paladin. goes a little bit apeshit, I believe is the technical term, upon seeing Pedor's dead and desecrated body.
I think, and maybe I'm mistaken here, but I feel like thematically, character-wise, Travian would make a much more convincing barbarian than a paladin.
Yeah.
Just in the way that the character is, like, personality-wise, and the way he, like, reacts to certain things. He just seems like he's more tuned in as a barbarian than someone who is, like, righteous anger and, like, vindication and pushing forward, like, a religious cause, which is what you would, like, expect with a paladin. Whereas Petravian's more like, this makes me really angry and I want to kill something. It's like, that's very barbarian. It's like, would Petravian be better as a barbarian than a paladin? Because I feel like at some level, that's the way he's being played. And maybe that's me just, like, looking at this in a weird one-off light. But that's the way I took it.
I definitely will say Petravian was far more of an extremist than Vera was in this session.
Mm-hmm.
Like, by far.
I just find it interesting how attached he is to Pedor.
Yeah.
I mean,
that one night stand did mean,
really meant a lot for Petravian.
Well, we know he is that touch-starved, though, so it clearly meant a lot more to Petravian than it did to Pedor, which is also tragic in its way.
I have a really weird question that I want to ask Skrewy. Do you guys think that was when Petravian lost his virginity?
Unsure.
And that's why he has such a weird connection to Pedor? Because that was literally Petravian's first time?
Huh.
It's a question for Skrewy, right? Like, I don't know, but, like, that's how I'm taking this. Cause
that is a fascinating possibility, and it would explain a little bit.
Yeah, right?
To your point about the barbarian,
if it helps, sorry.
No,
if it
go
helps,
ahead, please.
We should be able to figure this out next time. Because literally I have plans for next session of finding that out.
So, to the point about would he work better as a barbarian, do barbarians in general have angst or doubts about their nature and about these sort of fits of rage that they fly into? Is that just a character
I think it
decision,
depends on, like, how you play your character.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
It's not, like, baked into the class, but it's certainly possible to have any number of interpretations of how they would deal with their powers.
I feel like that's a point that is interesting in the fact that Petravian does have to sort of balance the fact that he is a paladin versus the violence and sort of martial upbringing, but I could see him working as a barbarian. But that's coming from me, who doesn't know the barbarian class particularly well.
I have a question. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Hey, yeah. Ask the question. Ask the question.
Don't forget your question.
Hey,
Keni.
buddy. So I don't know how much of that you heard.
I only heard barbarian.
Okay, so question for you.
Sure.
You seem to have a very strong attachment to Pedor as a character. Like, there's this definite, like, emotional connection there with Travian and Pedor. And when you saw Pedor, dead on the table, you kind of lost your cool and you kind of flipped out and killed a lot of people in a real sadistic way. So my question is, and maybe this is just me, like, misinterpreting all of this.
Go ahead.
But was Pedor Petravian's first time? And is that why Petravian has such an attachment to Pedor?
When Pedor doesn't reciprocate that attachment.
Two separate questions. Can't give a good answer to the first one because I haven't thought in that.
Okay. Well, what's your headcanon for that? Like,
well, theoretically, yes. Theoretically, yes. If I'm thinking of all the, because he wouldn't be into the whole concubine or the whole what do you call it scene? The whole
like military prostitution.
Yeah, he wouldn't be into that. So
followers.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be into that. So Thinking about it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. No. He sees Paydor as an innocent
Okay.
and as a pure soul.
Who he fucked.
Yeah. I mean, this is opening up a lot
Who
of
he-
information here.
Who he corrupted and whose innocence
Yeah.
he took away, arguably.
Oh, this is such a pure soul. Let's get down to clown.
Well, no, in that scene, in this scene, in his
Yeah.
for this, he sees them as a pure soul, as someone who is,
Who's a victim of this whole situation? Sure.
exactly,
Yeah.
and who he loves, like that soul kind of love that just. I must protect this from everything horrible in the world. They are
Right.
too good for this. And to see them on a slab,
Mm-hmm.
it's we're here now. Okay. No more questions. No more comments.
You've
We've already
desecrated
made our
this.
decisions.
You've desecrated this pure soul, and god damn it, that's my job.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Speaking of desecrating Paydor, I had a really incorrect interpretation that I thought was kind of weird for a minute, and that was that this was some sort of hospital, and that all these people were there because they were missing parts, and they were there to get like transplanted
Fixed?
pieces from Paydor's body, and it's like, this is like a house of healing, shit. And
Oh,
here
no,
we
and-
come, like literally attacking all these poor disabled people.
At first, I thought that maybe they were trying to heal Paydor, but then it turned out she was dead. So I was like, oh, or they were dead. So I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
okay, we're good.
Yeah, no. But yeah, that was Petravian's.
You guys did figure out where those body parts went, right?
Moo.
What's that?
Yeah, there were a lot of eyes specifically missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Twisted, trying to make themselves look like that which hungers. But there was another question that came up, Skrewy, while you had stepped away from Beardy. Beardy, do you wanna touch on that again? The question of Petravian's class.
Oh, okay. So I was just musing that it seems to me that Petravian in a lot of situations is based more around his anger in a situation than anything else. Like that seems to be like his guiding emotion is anger, and the way that he kind of just gets like flipped and he just goes to destroy something in kind of an epic fashion a lot of the time. And it makes me look at the class and look at the character and be like is Petravian behaving like a paladin, or is Petravian behaving like a barbarian? And like what actually is matching this personality versus this class more closely? And like when I think of a paladin, and I realize this is maybe stereotyping the entire class, but I think of someone who's like kind of like a righteous, like self-righteous often person who like completely believes that they're right because they have this unshakable faith in their god, and that they're the sword of their god, and they're here to like bring their god's dominion to the world by, committing violence. That's like the typical paladin, right? And that could be good or bad based on the paladin's beliefs, and based on how you want to interpret their stuff. But they're usually considered like violent and self-righteous, and typically like they don't care about anyone else's opinions because they are already made up their mind about something ahead of time because they're ultra religious.
Zealots.
Yeah, they're zealots, and they're often dangerous, and they're not fun to be around as people, but that's a whole other thing. But Petravian kind of to me comes off as someone who is more guided by like their personal code of morals, and when they see something that they don't agree with, they are flooded with anger, and they use that as a driving force to go and kill the shit out of something they don't like. And to me, that's much more in tune with a barbarian than a paladin. So I didn't know if that was something that you had done intentionally, or if was that something that just sort of happens.
that just sort of happens. He is okay. So as I said, as I was, it started with turning that dude to that dark elf to paste. By the way, Keni,
Mm-hmm.
masterful.
Thank you.
Masterful. I knew that was pretty much that was where I wanted to go with it. I didn't have the correct words and I didn't want to reach. But you went for it for me. And it was exactly where I wanted it to go. My other option was to shove the gun into them and just keep pulling the trigger until it goes click.
Okay. Cool.
That was my other options.
Is that worse than the other thing?
I don't know, to be
Think-
honest. You did curb stomp someone, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. It's all fucked, man.
I just love that we didn't like psychoanalyze Jiro when it came down to yeeting those poor goblins off the goddamn bridge.
I mean, I
But
did
I guess that
as
was
the
more of a
DM.
comedic moment than it was
Yeah.
a serious moment for the character.
I mean, maybe.
And
But yeah, Petravian, once he does make his mind that something is worse than evil, it's sacrilegious, like it is profane, it is desecratory. That, oh no, you're not getting in my way until I fix this. So
Xeno,
in that vein, it is paladin. So drawing from the self-righteous code of what should be, but utilizing the rage that comes from there to make something good again.
and I think
Rather
it's
than
worth...
God.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's worth pointing out that I don't think it's intended as a criticism, that observation that they have those barbarian qualities. It's just an interesting choice on your part, how you do portray the paladin class. Xeno, you had an interesting comment, I think, while Skrewy had stepped away, about comparing Vera and Petravian in that moment.
Oh yeah, for this entire session, I felt that Petravian was far more of an extremist than Vera was.
Which is saying something.
But then again, also Vera has very much pulled back their extremism because of what their actions have brought, specifically with Pentress and that she's learned that she needs to think things through a bit more about who to put this anger towards, to put this that righteous action of her faith towards.
Character art. And it's beautiful.
That's why I didn't kill the reception.
I have a question for you, Skrewy, and that was, what did you make of Kurla being the one to slap Petravian back to his senses?
Oh, that is. It
Or
was
try to.
It would have been either Kurla or Riz. I think that would have because
Well, Riz wasn't there.
well, yeah. So Karis was too shocked by the just utter brutality of what Petra was doing.
Yeah.
Vera didn't have the strength to stop him, to snap him out of it, or didn't go the correct application of not the correct application. The didn't aim the strength correctly.
I
So
rolled like shit.
That's true. Levette, I mean, if Archie was there, Archie pick up Petra.
Aww.
And that's how that would go. And I am surprised at everyone's. I am surprised that everyone is. I mean, shocked, yes, but like disappointed in him. Like, no, these fuckers did something horrible to this poor soul, and y'all don't. And at least
Their soul has been gone for a long time.
Yes, but he understands that. It sorta understands
It's just
that, but
a body.
it's just, I know it's just a body, but there has to be some justice in there, and these fuckers are desecrated. Sorry.
Farrah wasn't disappointed.
That's true. Farrah was worried about you. I don't think Petravian's good for Farrah.
I just appreciated it as a chance to touch on what had happened in the previous scene, given that Kurla had managed to convince you not to stove in that one's head and actually render them unconscious. One of only 2 survivors of the Xeniris Tower incident. And it goes back to what we mentioned earlier about Levette having labelled Petravian as, what was it? What was the term?
Oh, cudgel.
A cudgel?
Yeah.
And Kurla wanting Petravian to be more than that, and convincing them to heal when we were at the Pentris estates. I like that dynamic has evolved, aside from all the bondage, handcuff jokes, and the fact that everyone thinks that we're dating.
It just keeps going. The train keeps going. One day you two
want
are going to end up together at this point.
They want you to be, well, I mean, Kurla doesn't do that, but I mean, they want you to be better. They believe that you can be better, and they hate it when you disappoint them. Which is kind of annoying of Kurla, actually, and speaks to Kurla's insecurities and expectations of people and how they need to stop doing that. But that's
I fall back
irrelevant.
to one thing that Beardy, that Kara said. I think Kara said he's so pretty, but he's so dumb. If I recall that correctly.
Probably. That sounds about right. But like that kind of dovetails into what I was thinking at the time, is that like Karis's take on that whole thing was like, it was horror because like this was someone that at one time she kind of had a crush on, and was like, oh, in her mind was like spinning fantasies of them like being together and ending up having a life together, blah 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 blah. And then like in that moment, seeing just like how completely brutal he could be was terrifying, because she's like, oh shit, like that, like this could have been my life could have been tied to this person who is now horrifyingly dangerous to me, right? Like just in the way they're behaving right now. And like realizing that like, oh shit, like there but for the grace of God go I kind of thing.
Dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of what was the back of her head, was she's like, oh shit, like I'm honestly scared of this person at this
Pringle
point.
was right.
Yeah.
Pringle's normally right.
Yeah, and the Pringle was
Yeah.
right. And, yeah. So
But you did live up to the "it won't be a knife" comment. It was your bad ham hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kenny, you threw an interesting wrinkle. Oh, beg your pardon, Skrewy. Go ahead. Oh, well, Kenny, you threw an interesting hammer into the works, or spanner into the works, rather, by what happened next with the celebrant appearing on screen and mentioning, among other things, that Paydor had donated their body to science, so the extent to which it was desecration became arguable.
It's
Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
So how I see it is Moo probably asked Paydor for their body after they were dead, and Paydor, being the sweetheart that they were, would be like, oh, of course I'd help my friend. I'd be dead then anyways. Doot doot doot.
it's really dirty signature.
Oh, it's super terrible.
yeah.
It's just scribbles. They're not
Yeah.
very good at it.
Bless them.
Seriously.
But no,
the celebrant
it would just be Paydor's own goodwill.
had
Now the medical person in my mind, yes, I get it, but taking myself out of that and putting in Petravian's head, he doesn't understand that. He
Wait.
just sees them, oh, la da da da. It's just taking apart this body, and he's and no,
The
that
person
that
he
was
lost his V card to.
I mean, I assume that that Peter was still murdered. Which,
I
were they
feel
not?
like that they were.
like, they signed the thing saying, yeah, you can use my body when I'm dead, and they're like, oh, great. Stab.
It's an interesting theory. Kenny?
We don't know.
I
I
don't
would
know
love
because
for-
I made that shit up on the spot.
Fair enough.
a lot of last night was more improv from me. I'm trying to do more of that. So I don't know. I mean, that alternate timeline's in the dust now. Well, in the orb specifically.
I have a question.
Mhm.
And it's, as I said last night, it was, as a player, I knew this was fucking stupid, but it was also as a character, kind of what would happen. Would the information from the celebrant that we got via the big screen have come via that terminal had Kurla not cast the terminal off the desk in order to lay payload to some kind of
I mean, if
respectful,
that's what you were
dignified
looking
rest?
for, probably. You'd
Okay.
have to look for it, though.
Okay.
Because
So
I
it
did
wasn't-
not have it planned until someone asked.
It wasn't game breaking.
No.
Good.
I just
Good,
wanted
good.
to make people feel bad for their actions.
Fair enough. So the celebrant comes on and gives us some more of that wonderful Christmas music. Thank you for
Oh,
that.
you all seem very upset. Here, let me put on some Christmas music. This will lighten your mood.
That's such
Okay.
a new thing to do. I love it.
Well, they don't understand people, so they're like, people seem happy when I play this music. So here you go. The worst idea for someone to become like a priest or priestess or celebrant is definitely Moo. Oh my fucking god.
So, speaking of that title, where does
Yes.
where does that come from?
So I wanted a term that wasn't gendered because all the sisters had been labeled as priestesses, like Cammy and Sasha eventually. And I really didn't like that for Moo. So I just looked up different terms and I came across cleric, which I was like, that's obviously incorrect for our game. And eventually I came across celebrant, which is what our priest was called in my church when I was growing up. And I kind of liked it, and it seemed like almost this ethereal othering in this situation. So I really liked the ring of it, so I used that.
It's a term I'd never heard before. So.
Really?
Yeah, never heard
Oh.
it before. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with it at all. May I ask what you were brought up in?
Episcopalian.
Oh, okay.
It
Red door
definitely
building.
worked. Door building?
Oh, the church always has a red door on Episcopalian churches.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like they're the ones that are not allowed to dance, right? I'm like, no, that's Pentecostals.
Actually, there's a lot of evidence that the song "I See a Red Door and I Want to Paint It Black" is based off of a funeral that they're at, and they see it's at an Episcopalian church because the doors are
Yeah.
red.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It is a funeral. Yeah.
My mind, I'm afraid, whenever I hear Episcopalian, goes to the word pescatarian, so I try and keep
That's
those separated in my
safer.
head. So,
Oh,
but the
bless
term is
Safa.
great, and Beardy, we were on the same wavelength there because I was about to ask about that, so thank you.
Skunks are like a kind of fish, right?
Probably. Num num num.
I mean,
Like, they both smell really bad, so...
Fish don't smell bad to me, you harlot.
It works in that they lead their congregation in celebration, but also they themselves are celebrated, and both of those things are toxic as fuck in
Yeah.
context. But I don't remember exactly what the celebrant said when they came on screen. I beg your pardon, am I using the correct pronouns for Moo? It is
They them.
they, them?
Yeah.
Lovely. Good. What exactly was said when they came on screen, aside
Oh.
from just get out? go away.
They tried to nicely ask you guys to go, explain that if you touch the orb goes with you, and pretty much takes down an entire, like, civilization. And they would appreciate it if you didn't.
Tough shit.
Tough shit. That civilization is bad. We judge it bad, and we are here to destroy it.
We're consigning them to the Dark Ages again.
They were
Fuck 'em.
explaining their position in a logical sense, because that's all Moo can do.
And we disagree.
It
And
do
we're
be
always
like
right.
that sometimes.
But they sign off, and obviously we're not going to take their warnings to heart. We're going to continue on because that's what we do come hell or high water, even if it seems far more sensible to give up.
And I tell you there's a door to the northeast of the room, and you're like, vents.
Yeah, because I thought there was some behind the screen.
We had to have a vent sequence.
I was like,
though.
okay, there's a door that I don't know what's behind it,
Yeah.
and there's the screen that the bad person is behind.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there.
It seemed thematic for Vera to be like, there's a person back there. I'm going to go back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A vent sequence, though, was a moral obligation considering the Die Hard themes.
Sure,
and the fact that it came up.
I let it happen. I just didn't have anything for the room that you guys went in, and I was like, I will try my best, but literally I did not anticipate you going into the screen room.
It works so well for us, though. We have these great intentions, and we go in completely the wrong direction, and then end up behind a screen, which we could have just smashed open. I was thinking it was going to be bulletproof, and nothing would smash through it, but we could have just smashed our way in.
No, I was just saying it was thick, similar to the vats.
Which broke like brittle glass.
Ooh.
Like anyone touching those tubes, it was broken.
And slime and body parts, and that was some great body horror. You must have loved that bit, Xeno.
Oh, that wasn't really body horror. That's just body parts.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Body horror
they'd
is
like-
when your body changes, like pregnancy.
Yeah. It's transformative.
Also,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
also, the only person who got damaged feet was Pringle.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make sure. Well, I mean, Vera almost did, but you missed the glass, so.
Yeah, you made that save.
Around this time, we graduated from handguns and long guns to a machine gun, but the machine gun line had already been used, which is good because I wouldn't have remembered it anyway. So
I did say gun machine because it wasn't a machine gun, and also Karis doesn't know what the fuck they are anyway. So
But someone
After
knew what a
our-
gun was.
I think someone had said at that point. I think.
No, I don't think so.
No, technically
Whoopsies.
not, but I was just like, all right.
Well, after our little off-script adventures in the screen room,
And you left the machine gun on the table,
And
Yes.
Petravian took it.
which, oh, thank God that Petravian took.
I wanted to choreograph that because I knew that Petravian would take it. I didn't want to leave it behind for mechanical purposes because I knew if Keni was giving us a machine gun, we would need it. But at the same time, Kurilla wasn't going to take it, so I wanted to sort of like
I mean, you
signal
technically
that.
didn't need it. It was just there
fair
for
enough.
fun.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were. I guess I assumed.
No,
but...
you can kill things just as easily with normal guns.
Or a table leg. No,
Mm,
throwing a table.
And then Petra went on to roll what was it 3 8s?
super low, and since the
Just-
gun was more complicated, I needed a higher roll, and it was just like, buddy.
Yeah.
Get the damn safety off. I was amused because it was said to be we thought it was a Kalashnikov. It turned out to be an MP5, and I was like, if this was a Kalashnikov, it wouldn't have jammed. I learned this from Nicolas Cage
I
in
have
Lord
a
of War.
request. Never ask me about guns ever again in my life. Please.
All I know about them is from Lord of War, starring Nicolas Cage. So-
I don't know guns. I don't like guns really, so just being asked what kind of gun it was, I was like, I don't know, machine gun. There's types.
a big one.
It go and that's all you need to know. Please, just put an F on it and let me go home.
We make it through to the next room, where I actually want to ask for the particular bit of piano music because I found it quite lovely. It was just a particularly nice piano rendition of I forget which Christmas song, but it was lovely. And we find it
Have
being
Yourself a
played.
Merry Little Christmas, I think was what it
Yes.
was, but I
Yes, that
could be
sounds right.
wrong.
I will verify 1 moment.
Your Vera. I'm sorry, that one has got old. But in a lovely moment for Karis, Karis attempts to reason with the Dark Elf playing the piano and tries to connect with them, tries to explain to them that more people will die if they don't sort of just let us pass. And I thought for a moment that maybe...
Nothing
it seemed to
personal,
work.
kid.
No. Gun to the back of the head. That's what I get for trying to be merciful. Gun to the back of the head.
But
To your back, actually. They did not go for your head.
They didn't go for the head. That's true.
They would have gone for the head, though, I'm assuming, had that conversation gone differently. Kenny, is
no, we
that
would
accurate?
have killed them. had
You
they-
would have fought then and there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair point. Sorry, stupid question.
But they were like, I know there's 2 people in that room, and I see how many people there are. I'll just bring them in there and we can gang up on them with our guns.
Yeah.
So it was equal parts strategic decision, but at the same time, aiming for the back instead of the head was the fact that they had been turned a little bit by Karis's kind of
They were softened a little.
Interesting. Well,
Thank you for
We-
shooting back.
it won't be a knife, it'll be a gun.
I
Damn it, that
mean,
line stuck in my
the
head.
Dark Elves are fine with killing each other too for the sake of their true goal
That's true. Yeah, the one in the
in the
the other
kitchen.
room. Pick up,
Mhm.
boy.
Yeah,
Well-
they're garbage people.
Nasty bits. As a player, I was like, yes, I'm so glad to see these fuckers get what's coming to them, these slaving bastards. But of course, Kurla can't be like that. Alas. So, we have gone through a number of Die Hard references. We've got some of the now I have a gun machine. Ho ho ho. We've got the yippee-ki-yay. Levette has been leaping around like John Wick or Matrix style, just 2 guns at the same time through the air, so that's all great fun. Pringle, as you pointed out, Xeno has been wandering around and got broken glass in their feet, which I didn't even catch last night. We even had was this the point where we had the ball your feet up, to feel the carpet?
Karis
Yeah, you gotta make
said
fists
that
with
when
your
she
feet
was
to-
tending to
Yeah,
Pringle's
to help them
feet.
recover.
Which would have been such terrible advice.
Bad
for,
advice. Yeah.
for a foot
Oh
wound.
boy.
It was a Die Hard reference, all right? I was trying to make the reference.
The one with
I
the
wasn't trying to
38
give sound medical advice.
the 38 heel check is, yes, grind this glass deeper into your feet. Any last shards I haven't been able to extract.
If anything, it should have been said to Karis when they felt ill after the elevator.
Yeah.
It still worked. It still was a lovely moment. But still in decent condition, but not for long, we head into the final room where, yes, there are at least 2, as far as we know, Dark Elves waiting for us, plus the 3rd at our back.
I mean, they did say, I can't promise you what happens after I lead you to that room. They were very honest with what was going to happen, technically.
This is true. So we destroy some priceless artifacts and artwork.
Yeah, you guys were missing a lot, which allowed me to be able to use the surroundings you guys were in and have, like, big little blow-up things. Psh, psh, psh. I think
It was just-
using environments is an important thing, personally.
I agree. And I loved that you let us do the curtain bandage thing. Thank you for that.
I didn't notice them at first, but, like, it took me a second. I was like, oh, yeah, there's a curtain there. Fuck it. Sure. I don't care. We're at the end. It's 1 a.m. I'm exhausted.
Well, it's good because Vera was bleeding out and couldn't breathe. So
Yeah, you took a nasty neck wound. I say you, conflating character with performer, but Vera took a nasty neck wound.
40 fucking damage, yo.
Ooh.
and like that, I was happy to like get the description of that so I could roleplay it out.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Gushing, just. In my mind, the whole thing kind of went. Have y'all seen Kill Bill?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so
I've
the battle at the House of Leaves when everything goes black and white.
Oh, yeah.
to beat the senses when it comes to all the blood. My mind went a little bit to that, only obviously bullets instead of knives, because gushing blood everywhere. That was the moment when it changed from color to black and white when Vera gets hit. Blech. But yeah, really interesting scene. Everyone kind of had to band together.
And
aside
you
from
guys were
Karis
just
and
like
Kurla.
you took your time after they died, and you're just like, all right, let's just chill here for a little bit, and I'm just waiting here like, they're right there. They're right
Someone
in the
look
room.
around. Someone look around the fucking great big tree and actually see the celebrant at the end of the room.
If you guys had actually seen them and tried to shoot at them during the fight, you wouldn't have been able to hurt them, though.
Oh no?
No, they would have, like, moved their head away from the bullet. They were invincible until those people were dead.
It would have broken the whole big reveal and the boss fight, which we should talk about. Because once we had defeated those two dark elves and bandaged up our wounds a little bit, we proceed around the fucking great big Christmas tree and see a dark elf with that which hungers tattoo symbol on their back.
Yep, they were
and
forced into becoming the celebrant because their family members died.
And extra hands that we recognize.
Mhm.
Yep.
Pour one out for Yarkulus.
And were the
And,
other ones Paydor's hand?
Probably the original ones.
Oh, I should have mentioned that the building up to the reveal, with it not only being the Xeneris Tower and based in the future, as we discover from the book of records, but also the Sasho statue in the previous room next to the piano that we pass, was all building to this reveal once this dark elf turns around and we see that is our good friend Merkalumi.
Yep.
Oh dear. And they've changed a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Barely.
Barely.
A lot of eyes, a lot of arms. It's fine.
Trying to achieve perfection in society and in physical form by convincing their followers to give up body parts so they can make themselves look more like that which hungers. That's body horror, right?
That's
by
your
definition?
interpretation of the situation.
It is body
Please
horror.
give me moves.
So Moo in this situation, I imagine, Sasho and Cammy dies, and so they get forced into being a celebrant because they have the spark. They're literally the last of this line that which hungers has this connection with. And being unable to really fight it, they instead try to bargain with that which hungers and is like, hey, I really don't like some of these things that we do. As much as Moo has come to understand people as best they can in their journeys in Snake Eyes. So, the idea was that between Moo's smarts that are pretty much untapped at this point because they were kind of like put away as like no one really wanted Moo to become like the next in line for the spark. Sasho's completely fine with being the next person, right? But unfortunately, because of this death, that can happen. So they're an untapped resource. They have that which hungers, and combining like them, they kind of combined their personalities almost and came up with these ideas of like how to make things better. But they didn't force people to like give up their parts. They simply asked.
Gotcha.
It was never for Moo a force at all. They were simply like, this is my idea, this is where I think we need to go, please donate if you feel like it.
But of course, within the constraints and the strict hierarchy of constraints, rather, in the strict hierarchy of Dark Elf society, and all of these Dark Elves bred to and raised into obedience to the higher up the church and to that which hungers. What would have happened if any of them had refused? That's my question.
They would have found someone else.
Interesting. Okay. But would anyone have refused?
I don't know. You guys don't see that.
Okay, fair enough.
But very much so your assumption that like Moo's trying to make themselves like in the visage of that which hungers, I feel like is a little too demented for Moo's point of view.
Okay.
Where Moo would just be like, oh, this is a very convenient and efficient thing to have. More eyes are efficient. More arms are efficient. I can do more things. It's completely a scientific standpoint for them. It's not on emotion whatsoever.
Fair enough. So they see the sort of the bipedal form as outdated and not as practical for what they want to accomplish.
Exactly. Like they said, I learned from Yaculus how efficient having more hands is.
So they took Yaculus's hands.
Yeah. The greater ones, technically. They did not take his lesser arms.
At least they didn't cook them up and eat them.
No, cannibalism's not really their thing.
Hands. I was hungry for hands. Go ahead, Beardy.
I was gonna ask, did Yaculus survive the process?
Oh, absolutely not.
That's what I was worried about.
Oh dear.
His soul is RIP'd.
Well, hopefully we have erased that timeline.
You
Yes.
have.
So good.
The
We-
orb
we
has
saved
it
Yaculus.
now.
We what was the word? We pruned that timeline.
Sure.
I am curious to know, and please feel free to not answer this, as everyone is with any question, but and maybe I missed this in the episode, but Sasho and forgive me, I've forgotten the other name that the mother
Cammy.
Cammy, we never determine exactly how they die. I don't believe that was revealed.
Nope.
Is that something you want to touch on, or is that going to just remain?
Well, I
in-
said you guys were terrorists, so my insinuation was that you killed them.
Okay, so the terrorism was not just our original faffing about, but the idea that we must have come back and really screwed with
Yeah.
Mythalian and perhaps converted one map into the other. We buggered up Mythalian so much so that it became what we see in Snake. Interesting. We managed to get around the gear. Hey, Vera, we managed to get around the fucking gears. Well done, us. We fucked some shit up. We freed some slaves. Right,
Since
maybe.
the person who cast the Gias on you, and this is me metagaming a little bit, since the person who cast the Gias on you was dead, it no longer affected you in my book.
Okay, so we just had to outweight Cammy. Oh my, I remember.
You didn't outwait, you killed them.
Fair enough.
And then you
Good
could
for
go
us.
down.
Good for us.
Terrorists.
Hey Vera, we committed acts of terrorism and killed off fucking. Yeah, one person's freedom fighter is another person's. Wait, no, I'm not the extremist. Petravian is. Go ahead, Xeno. Sorry.
That's it.
Well, we have a chat with Moo, and it ends as I guess it always had to, which was with more gunplay. And Moo
Hail of
goes
bullets.
down. Sorry, go ahead, Beardy.
I was just saying a hail of bullets is how it ended.
And
It's a firing squad.
completing the Die Hard sequence, of course, Moo falls out of the window, and that's that. Nothing happens. We just leave.
Except
Not
for
quite.
round 2.
Yeah, not quite, because we hear skittering noises as this. Yeah, but it's not Moo anymore.
Ka-chunk.
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 Oh, that put needles down my spine.
Good.
Well done there.
Yeah, I thought that it would be too easy to just kill them out the window. You had to do it twice.
And the
And the
first
second
time was
time, you described it as like mechanical limbs coming out of their back.
Which they learned from Lovat, technically.
Yeah. But at that point, like the Moo vessel itself was already dead.
Oh, it was
And
super
was
dead.
and it was just the spirit of that which hungers inhabiting their now corpse. Which is
Spirit
a
of
great
Christ.
sequence as well. Like, it's a
Mhm.
fun idea. That now is just this vessel of divine anger.
the spark is all that remains. And was perhaps oh no, never mind. I'm not going to go into that. But it was a really nice extra bit, a nice way of confounding expectations. And yes, that did seem a little bit too easy. Oh shit! Round 2. Here we go. Xeno, did you have something you wanted to throw in there?
Nope.
Okay, you looked like you had. Anyway,
Go on.
we destroy Moo. We destroy Moo. We destroy that which hungers his presence in Moo. We recover the key to unlock the orb downstairs, but as we find the key, we also find something else on one of these teddy bears. Keni, what do we find on that teddy bear?
A gift from Sasho to Moo.
A heartbreaking, melancholy note from sibling to sibling.
Moo, of course, like, for what it's worth with Moo not understanding people, it doesn't mean they can't completely feel. It's just they feel in a different way, and they still cherish specific things. So having items from their sister is still very important to them, especially after their passing. So of course they would keep that.
And I liked that, well, not humanized them because they're a dark elf, not a human, but I like that complicated the morality of what we had just done, just as taking all of the vengeance on the dark elves who carved up Pador's body also complicated was complicated by the fact that they had consented ahead of time. It keeps it from being too black and white, too cut and dried, and keeps it in a nice little grey and challenging moral area, which is kind of the fun of
kind
Pathfinder.
of Moo in a way, though. They are a very different character. That I would just say is very much so me, kind of focusing more on my neurodivergent nature and just kind of going full force with it. I'd say that's how I play Moo normally. And sometimes you just feel less things. At least I do.
So Moo is sort of in a permanent state of... I've lost the word. Not disconnection, but... someone help me.
Sleep paralysis.
No.
Yeah, we'll go with that. No, they are... It's a common neurodivergent thing. It's something I spent a lot of time...
Dissociation?
Thank you, yes.
Very much so. Yeah, Moo doesn't get people. They understand science. That is their comfort. That is their passion. That is the one thing that makes sense to them. So that's what they focus on and do and want to share with people. But not everyone wants to talk about it. And then you talk too much and then you feel awkward and then you just end up nervous laughing.
I do want to say that I like the connections with Levette and Levette's technology. When I had my sort of moment, I had thought I was wrong. I thought you were going in a completely different direction. I thought Levette's technology was gonna come into play more, just as we'd seen it in the vehicle, and it did kind of come up with the arms that got pointed out. You mentioned that was inspired by Levette's technology, but it was still very interesting to see Levette's creations and Levette's pursuit of science. Levette is pursuing it, but I think, and Grem can speak to this if I'm wrong, has learned to consider potential outcomes more and to be a little bit more cautious in what they design. It's not a question of them doing something because they can do it. They do stop and think a little bit about should they do something. And with Moo, that seems less constrained. So I guess you could look at them maybe as a little bit of a darker version of Levette and Levette's motivations. Is that a fair comment?
Probably. I mean, a lot of the inspiration from the Levette-like devices was because they got to fully research Marcus when they had him. They understood, based on just their intelligence, they really understood how Levette made things, and so they took that and could use it for other stuff. They reverse engineered it pretty much.
Which is an accomplishment. Just twisted.
Yaculus is smarter than Moo, though. I just want to say it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Jackie Boy's the smartest one.
He is the smartest. He has a natural 20 intelligence that he rolled in the beginning.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, no disrespect to Yaculus. I just wouldn't have called that.
I know. That's kind of his thing.
Yeah. It's almost like he downplays his intelligence because he feels like it alienates him from people.
Less.
More than-
Yaculus has kind of the opposite situation of Moo, where Yaculus thrives on social interaction.
Are we using that as a euphemism for sex?
What?
Social interaction.
I mean,
It could be, but he just likes being around people. He likes being the center of attention.
mm-hmm. So in a lot of ways, he's very much the polar opposite of Moo.
Hmm.
But they're both very smart.
I do love... I look forward to Snake Eyes when... I've enjoyed it so far. I look forward to it when it comes back. No pressure there, I'm just saying. Because of the way that the different characters play off each other and complement each other. And balance each other out in terms of their strengths and their weaknesses and the way that they approach their stats. I just think that you play them fascinatingly, and I can't wait to hear
We
more.
do.
And I can't. Yes, I beg your pardon, of course, Beardy as well. I can't wait to see them again in that. I also can't wait to see them again in future holiday specials, Christmas specials, Halloween specials.
And we'll see what the Halloween special leaves for us next year, because I don't know if we'll be on to season 3 by that point.
More goblin smashing. More pickaxes.
No.
No. Can't dip into that well twice.
No. We'll see where it leads us.
Well, wherever it does, I'm looking forward to it. We defeat Moo. We
We
recover
did.
the key. We head back down the horrible, sick-making... What was it called? The elevation room? The elevation machine, Beardy?
An elevation chamber.
Chamber, that's the word.
It's terrible. Who would make
Was.
that?
A truly twisted mind.
Efficiency.
I hate all of these things. This place is terrible, and we need to unmake it from reality.
And that's what you guys did.
I do have a question about that room. I noticed we came in through a door to the south, and there was a door to the west into that room as well, I think.
What room?
The final room that we entered with the orb in it.
It was the room you guys like the map you guys entered in on into the building. It's on the same map. I just didn't make you like physically move your characters into there.
Sure. My question is, and this might not be something that you can reveal, the fact that there were 2 doors into that orb room, I'm curious what would have been behind the door to the west, whether that would have been a different route into that room.
Just
or
a different
whether that
route.
was- Okay.
Which I had those doors locked originally anyway, so even if you had explored the entire area, you wouldn't
I
have been
found the
able to get
bathroom.
in. You did find the bathroom.
It connects directly to the green room. So we could have just gone right there.
Had I gone through the vents, I would have solved this whole thing like right off the bat.
I wish it
Damn.
could have connected with the sewers, because we could have done Apprentice Estates and go up through the damn commode. You finding that room did take me back to like one of the first arcs in season 1, which was the effort that was made in the void of the Telic house to get across to one particular platform, and after all that effort, the door was opened and it was a fucking bathroom.
Well, the south pit looked so large and scary. We didn't think we were supposed to go there because it was too big to jump. Physics is hard. That's why I was given a B, a pity B, because my teacher was like, you know, they're not going to be a scientist, but they sure try hard.
That's beautiful.
Pity B.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Were there any final thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? Praise for Keni that Keni will deflect?
Rather than praise Keni, because I know they'll never accept it, I will instead be horrified at Petravian one more time.
Yes. Shame. Shame on him. Shame and doom.
But yeah, Pringle's the bad guy.
Yeah, of course.
I look forward to that being explored in future specials if we're doing those characters again, because as you said, maybe it'll be season 3 by then. We will find out.
To be fair, when Vera did bring it up, Petravian was on Pringle's side for some reason, so I was like, oh, okay.
When was this?
When Vera said, watch out for Pringle, for the devil, so she doesn't poison your food when they're eating the
he just
stuff.
didn't like that you called her a devil.
Yeah, but still, it's like,
It's kind of accurate, but still, it's mean.
You can think it, you're just not allowed to say it. All right, well, Keni, what have we got on next weekend?
Next weekend, we are right back into our regularly scheduled Check Please episodes, where we are going to jump into the Harvest Festival, and I finally get to learn about my memories. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yep.
So, we
One more
hope
week.
you all roll with us then. I'm super excited for it. We love you very, very much, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.